Your story is supposed to be autobiographical and have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm always bending those rules. The beginning of my story goes back to when I was 2, and I know that I was 2 in some months because I know for sure I wasn't wearing diapers. My mother said, I have a brother 2 years younger than I am. My mother said, I've got to go out and tend to the chickens. You stay here with your brother. And I looked at my brother, and there was this baby in the baby bed, and he was sleeping, and he wasn't going to be any good. I wanted to come along with my mother, and she said, you stay in the house. And she left, and I was standing at the window with my hands up like this, bawling my eyes out, and I wet my pants. That's how I know I wasn't wearing a diaper. So I was 2 years and some months, based on the age of my brother and the fact that I wasn't wearing diapers. That's my earliest memory, and that's the beginning of my story. The end of my story gets more right to the point. I won't be around to tell you the end of my story. I don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. I just know that it is going to happen. I am 67 years old. My high school class just observed our 50th graduation anniversary, at which point 20% of us are dead. And the part that could be scary is that life expectancy is about 79 years. So in 10 to 12 years, half of us will be dead.
Thanks, Mike.
You're not as old as I am, but so you take 20% away from half, 30% of us in a class of about 100 people are going to die in the next 10 to 12 years. That's a lot of funerals to go to. At the reunion, we didn't talk about dying at all. There has been studies done about what people are afraid of. And your own death only ranked number 3. That it was worth considering, but it wasn't a thing that bothers a whole lot of people as much as you might think that it does. Number 2 is a big surprise too. I'll come back to it. Number 1 is a serious disease. Life is wonderful. Death is peaceful. But the transition can be problematic. And so most people, some people are lucky. They're alive 1 minute and boom, they're gone. Others, we may put up with a serious disease for years. And that's what people are really afraid of. They don't want to contemplate being alive and not being able to enjoy it. Having a serious stroke and dying is a terrible thing. Having a serious stroke and living is often even worse. My sister-in-law was filling in for her friend at a nursing home once. And she was tending to these gentlemen who had had strokes, who could not stand, could not sit, could not speak. All they could do is lie in their beds. And her job was to go in and give them a sponge bath. So there's this one particular fellow, she goes in and she gives him a sponge bath like everybody else gets, and then rubs his skin down with oil, and he was lying there going, nah, 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 nah. And she didn't know. She said, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. So the friend she was filling in for met up with her a couple of days later, and they said, I couldn't get this guy. I gave him the sponge bath, and I put oil on his skin, and he wasn't happy. And she said, oh, yeah, I didn't tell you. I always give him a hand job. So unless you get really, really lucky with your caregiver, you could have a problem having a very serious illness without dying. So a serious illness comes in at number 1. Your own death comes in at number 3. Number 2 is, drum roll please, public speaking. I've seen people who've gone to conferences and the scheduled presenter couldn't be there, so he had to fill in at the last minute. And he was wishing that he was number 3, dead, rather than number 2, trying to give a talk. But thanks to the tell, I came in, and the looking glass was moved in front of me. I stepped through the looking glass, and everything has been different since then. So the tell has offered me the opportunity to face and conquer a fate worse than death. Thank you very much.